The year was 1996, a golden era for comics, when fans still lined up at crowded stores, trading theories and flipping through glossy pages that smelled of fresh ink. But this time, there was something different in the air. A storm of excitement was brewing, unlike anything the comic world had ever witnessed. For the first time in history, the two greatest universes, DC and Marvel, were colliding. Worlds were literally at stake, and so were reputations. The event was called simply DC vs. Marvel. The story began with a tear in reality itself. A cosmic rift split open the sky, its glow like shattered glass across the stars. Both universes felt the tremor. Gotham's shadows flickered. Metropolis's skyline pulsed with unnatural light. And far across another world, the Hulk felt his heart pound with unfamiliar tension. The gods of these universes, mysterious cosmic beings who claimed dominion over existence, declared a terrifying truth. The universes cannot coexist. Only one shall remain. But this was no ordinary war. It would not be decided by armies, nor by diplomacy. Instead, it would be determined by champions. Heroes and villains alike would be forced into battle, paired against counterparts from the opposing reality. The victors would shape the destiny of entire worlds. And so the matchups were written. Batman versus Captain America. Wonder Woman versus Storm. Thor versus Shazam. Wolverine versus Lobo. Each fight would matter. But one fight rose above all, catching fire in the imagination of every fan, every reader, every child clutching a comic book in trembling hands. Black Right Arrow # Superman vs. The Incredible Hulk. It was a dream match no fan had dared believe they'd ever see. The Man of Steel, born of Krypton's dying world, raised to embody truth and justice, powered by the very sun. Against the Green Goliath, a man cursed with infinite rage, whose strength knew no limit, who grew stronger with every strike. Comic shops across the globe exploded with debate. Would Hulk's raw fury overwhelm Superman? Could any amount of rage match the speed of light, the heat of solar fire, or the resilience of steel skin? Posters were plastered on walls. Articles dissected every power, every weakness. Kids wore Superman shirts while others drew Hulk's clenched fist on their notebooks. The anticipation became a fever. Meanwhile, inside the story itself, the tension was just as palpable. Superman gazed into the stars, sensing the ripple of universes colliding. Another world, another force, he murmured, cape flowing in the winds of Metropolis. If what they say is true, then everything we know, everything we fight for, hangs on this. Fire away. Bruce Banner's heart raced as the Hulk stirred inside him. They think they can throw me into their game. Banner muttered, sweat dripping down his face. Then they'll see. The Hulk doesn't lose. The storm was gathering. Not just in the skies, not just between worlds, but in the hearts of millions of fans. This wasn't just another comic book fight. It was the fight. One side believed in hope, in the hero who could carry the weight of worlds. The other believed in unstoppable might, in the monster who could smash through gods themselves. As the pages turned and the universes drew closer, the clash became inevitable. Soon, the Man of Steel and the Green Goliath would stand face to face, the ground trembling beneath them, the fate of two worlds in their fists. The storm before the clash had come, and the world would never be the same. The city was silent for only a moment. Then, the ground trembled. Dust and rubble shifted as the air thickened with power. On one end of the ruined street stood the Green Titan, muscles rippling like an earthquake in motion, his fists pounding the earth with a rhythm that felt like war drums. On the other end, the caped hero descended from the skies, landing with a thunderous crack that sent shockwaves rippling across shattered concrete. The two legends locked eyes. The world seemed to hold its breath. With a roar that shattered glass for miles, the Titan charged first. His colossal body tore through broken cars and debris like paper. His fist swung forward, carrying the weight of a mountain. The hero stepped forward to meet it. Their fists collided. The explosion of force cracked the ground for blocks. Windows blew out in 100 buildings. A shockwave raced outward, flipping cars, throwing rubble, and rattling the bones of any who dared watch from the shadows. The Titan grinned through his fury, shoving the hero backward. But the hero didn't falter. With blinding speed, he soared upward, circling above like a comet blazing through the night sky. Then he dove down, slamming into the Titan's chest with the force of a meteor. The earth split, a crater forming beneath them. Still, the Titan rose. Bruised, yes, but burning with rage. Stronger, he roared, and his muscles swelled, his veins glowing with emerald fury. He grabbed the hero mid-flight and hurled him through the remains of a skyscraper. Steel bent like clay. Glass rained down like falling stars. For a moment, silence. Then, a red and blue streak burst through the rubble, the hero unharmed, eyes glowing like suns. He unleashed beams of heat vision, cutting through the smoke and striking the Titan head-on. The Titan screamed, but instead of falling, he barreled forward through the beams, his skin scorched but his rage fueling him. They clashed again. Punches that could shatter mountains. Throws that split the ground into rivers of fire. The city became their battlefield, a graveyard of steel and stone. The hero tried to outmaneuver, darting around with lightning speed, landing precision blows to the Titan's ribs, jaw, and knees. Each hit echoed like thunder. But the Titan endured. With every strike, his fury deepened, his power surged. He caught the hero mid-strike, slamming him into the ground with such force that the earth cracked open like a wound. The hero struggled, pinned under the Titan's strength. But then he remembered what he fought for. Not just survival, but the fate of 2 entire universes. With a surge of will, he broke free, his aura glowing brighter than ever. He rocketed upward, faster than sight, before diving down with a punch that connected squarely to the Titan's jaw. The Titan staggered, for the first time nearly falling. Both warriors paused, panting, their bodies bruised, their power nearly unmatched. For a brief moment, they stared at one another, not as enemies, but as forces of nature, acknowledging the strength of the other. Then the silence ended. The Titan roared louder than ever, and the hero clenched his fists, determination burning in his eyes. The battle wasn't over. It was only just beginning. The city shook again, and the clash of the Titans continued, echoing like thunder across 2 universes. The battlefield was unrecognizable. Entire city blocks lay in ruins, skyscrapers toppled like dominoes, smoke rising in black pillars against the broken night sky. The clash of fists, the roar of rage, the thunder of impact, it had all left Metropolis trembling. At the center of it all, 2 Titans stood battered but unbowed. The green Goliath, his chest heaving, eyes glowing with fury. The caped hero, cape torn and suit scorched, still hovering in the air with defiant strength. They had fought like gods. Each strike had threatened to tear apart the very ground beneath them. Each counter had pushed the limits of their power. And yet, neither had truly fallen. But then, something changed. The sky split open with a deafening crack, a blinding emerald light pouring down like fire. From the cosmic rift above descended the true enemy, the architects of the universe's suffering. Towering, armored beings of energy and shadow, their voices echoing like thunder across the void. Foolish mortals, you think this was your fight? You are but pawns. The universes shall collapse, and from the ashes, we will rule. The realization struck both warriors at once. Their battle had been orchestrated. The storm, the matchups, even their clash, it was all a distraction. And unless they acted now, there would be nothing left to fight for. The hero landed beside the Titan. For a moment, silence passed between them. No words were spoken, but respect was finally clear in their eyes. The hero extended his hand. Together. The Titan's breathing was heavy, his fists trembling with rage. But then he grinned, a sharp, almost feral smile. Together, he growled. The alliance was forged. The first wave of the cosmic enemy descended, beams of energy slicing through the air. The hero shot upward, intercepting the blasts with his body, then countered with blazing heat vision that split the sky in 2. The Titan leapt, higher than mountains, crashing into the invaders with fists that could shatter worlds. Side by side, they fought as one. The hero's speed and precision became the perfect balance to the Titan's raw, unstoppable might. When one faltered, the other stepped in. When one was struck down, the other carried the fight forward. The city became their battlefield again, but now, instead of destroying it, they were defending it. Civilians cheered from the wreckage, their fear melting into awe as they saw 2 legends fighting not against each other, but for them. The invaders fell one by one. Buildings shook under the impact of the Titan's punches. The night sky glowed as the hero's energy beams carved through the darkness. Every strike echoed with the promise of survival, of hope. And then came the final moment. The cosmic rift pulsed with violent energy, threatening to consume both universes at once. The enemy poured their power into it, a blinding storm of destruction. The hero and the Titan looked at each other one last time. The hero's eyes narrowed. We end this now. The Titan's roar shook the heavens. Smash! Together, they launched forward. The hero's speed propelled him into the heart of the rift, channeling his strength into a blinding strike. The Titan followed, his fist crashing into the core of the energy with unstoppable force. The explosion lit the world in white fire. The ground quaked, the sky screamed, but then, silence. When the dust cleared, the rift was gone. The cosmic enemy had been obliterated. The universes stabilized. The hero stood, breathing heavily, his cape torn to shreds. The Titan knelt for a moment, then pushed himself up, battered but undefeated. They looked at each other once more. No words were needed. Respect had been earned. A bond had been forged, not of friendship, but of warriors who had faced the end and stood tall together. As dawn broke over the ruined city, the people cheered. They would tell this story for generations, the day when two titans fought, then stood united, and saved existence itself. The hero raised his fist to the sky. The Titan roared in victory, and together, they walked away, not as enemies, but as legends.